Do any of you guys have OCs that just exist in the ether, living their best lives because frankly, they have no lives? Simply, I sometimes just create characters because I feel like it, because drawing is fun. Blank canvas, you don't feel like drawing anything copyrighted, so you create something new. Hippie Girl and Skylar are those types of characters. They started off as doodles that I liked, and then I shoved them into 2152, the trifold article, without a second thought. Now they're pretty much integral to the story despite being random just a couple years ago. But there are a handful of OCs that I cannot fit into my main story or any story at all. They exist inside a vacuum, cursed to be only sketches and drawings. That pair that we're going to focus on today is Caroline and Diana. So why did I create them if I didn't plan to do anything with them? And ooh, will I ever give them a story? Well, let's vibe on that and discuss the OCs without a story. Should every OC have a story, or are they fine just the way they are? Let's learn about these two goofballs to find out. All aboard! We're taking a quick trip to hell. These days it goes by Amino, and I had to download this stupid app for this video, so if someone can pay for my therapy after this, I'd greatly appreciate that. That wasn't a joke, but putting that aside, these two rascals were created on Amino when I was 17. They were solely created to fuel my one addiction, art trades. I love a good art trade. It was just a fun way to draw other people's characters and work on my own art skills at the time. It was a different time back then in 2018. I couldn't draw digitally to save my life, and I relied heavily on watercolors and Prismacolor markers for my art trades. But of course, in order to do an art trade, I needed OCs. So who do we have? First off, I created Caroline Fawn. Oh my god. And we're jumping right into the stupidity with this one. What kind of last name is Fawn? Like the deer? I couldn't just call her Caroline Wilson or some crap. No, she has to be Caroline Fawn. Oh, how aesthetic, how mysterious. But okay, Caroline Fawn. Hopefully her bio is better. I'm not betting on it. Caroline is chilled and laid back, somewhat easily irritated at times. Her best friend is Diana, which is about the complete opposite of her. She enjoys the quiet and darkness. Sorry, wait, can we run that back? She enjoys the what?
The darkness?
She enjoys the darkness. Is that like a location or something? Caroline spends her time creating spells opposed to mimicking spells. Also, additional context, she's also an alien witch vampire, which we'll get into later, but I know no amount of explaining will help make that make sense. Anyways, introducing Diana Starr. No relation to Patrick Starr, I assure you. And her bio says, it's a work in progress. Oh, that's real nice. I guess we'll never know what the intention was with her, but yeah, as you can see, we weren't going off a lot with these two to begin with on their bios. But I did do a bunch of art trades with these characters and got some adorable art out of it. And I got to draw a lot of OCs as well. I'm trying to find who drew most of these because I didn't bother to credit them on my page like a moron. So by any chance, if you recognize your art or someone else's art, let me know and I'll credit them. But I know that McCavey drew this, and honestly this drawing is so good it feels like highway robbery. And this was drawn by someone named Cream Mallow, who probably deleted their account because I can't find them. So yeah, Amino art trades. I gave them the bare minimum of bios, just enough for people to draw them and get a feel of what their characters are like, but nothing else. Speaking of drawing, why don't we talk about their designs? I think that's how some OCs start out. You accidentally draw something cool and you're like, wow, that's cool. I'm gonna keep drawing that. The character from my book, let's take Brandon, for example. Whether it's 2017 or 2024, he'll always have the red hoodie, band-aid nose, shorts, socks, and sandals. Even his color palette is the same. He's part of a story, although his current look has almost no bearing on the plot. I do it because of consistency. I can't explain it, like sure, he has freckles now, and he badly needs a haircut, but that's it. Now Caroline and Diana, they can't pick an outfit or a hairstyle. I draw whatever I feel like when it comes to them. You guys like reels? I made 2 reels just to draw attention to how much they've changed in appearance.
Oh, look. It's a picture I took of you the first time I ever came here. Ah! Look at you, so young and happy. Where do the years go?
Imagine your OC meeting their old design.
Watch your man, you should watch your mouth.
And the funny part is that's what they looked like in 2023. This year, I changed them again because I really can't pick a look for them. And since they aren't in any comic or anything, I could keep changing them. What I find so quirky is how 2010s their early designs are. Caroline with the off-the-shoulder sweatshirt, graphic print and all. And then Diana, this girl literally has the galaxy print, case closed. All they need left is like mustache tattoos and hipster glasses to complete the look. Today, Caroline has that 2019 e-girl look, and Diana has that galaxy print still, but it's like more of the 2019 Tumblr fashion. I don't know what to call this look nowadays, but back then it was basically the 2019 Tumblr aesthetic fashion, and now all my characters' fashion choices are pretty much stuck in 2019. It's so weird. Someone told me to stop wearing mom jeans because we've moved to Y2K now, but like, I'm sorry guys. I've decided I'm still gonna dress like it's 2019, sue me. But maybe eventually I'll change these guys to Y2K when I get bored enough, cause I'm always evolving their designs. I mean, I changed Diana about 3 times within the same month. In this post, I had her in a cropped hoodie, then I changed it cause I already have characters with crop tops, so on the thumbnail I made this, and then I realized that my persona already has high-waisted flare jeans with Converse, so I was like, okay, one of us has to change, and it's not gonna be me. So I gave her these high-waisted shorts, but I'm still not digging the look. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm just trying not to create accidental parallels. My worst nightmare, guys, is if someone was like, Diana is Gioni's great-great-great-grandma because they both have cropped shirts. Like, that kind of theory would make me end it all right here, right now. And you think it's a joke, but people are really like this. There's the rabbit hole of Danny Phantom supposedly being Timmy Turner, just because some of the characters share design traits. I can get behind a lot of goofy theories in cartoons, but I can't get behind a character looking like another character supposedly, and now they're the same character from like a different timeline or a different universe. It's just, ugh. What's really going on here is that Stephen Silver was a character designer for both shows, so he happened to draw characters that looked the same. So yeah, I face the same challenge as Stephen. I tend to be biased towards high-waisted clothing and crop tops, so most of my characters have high-waisted skirts or pants with crop shirts. It's hard coming up with new designs that you personally, as an artist, like. Please tell me that Stephen Silver and I aren't the only ones suffering with this. And don't get me started on the self-insert allegations. It's so obvious when a creator makes an OC based on themselves. Sometimes it's a good thing, other times it's not. Anyway, I have no self-inserts except for my sim self-inserts, and that's a whole nother video that does not belong here. But I'll clarify that Diana isn't my self-insert. Just because we both have the same jeans from Old Navy doesn't mean that we're the same person. Unintentional parallels are not fun for me as an artist. And Caroline doesn't get spared either just because she doesn't have the N-word pass. She just gets compared to other characters who exist. The first thing she got accused of being was a reject Mai. I'm not joking. Someone actually told me she was a rejected Mai, and Mai was not the inspiration whatsoever. But that didn't bother me because there's so many characters with black mod bangs. It's a popular hairstyle. But one day I was drawing Caroline and I felt like my whole soul had escaped my body because I realized that Caroline looks like number 3. I wanted to game end myself right there and then when I made the realization. There were just too many similarities for no one not to notice. Long sweater that covers the hands, long black hair with mod bangs, and leggings. I kept it together and said, no one will notice. So like a couple of months later, my cousin noticed, and I changed the whole design the next day, right there and then. Had to go. And sure, this design is worse and less iconic, but I'm trying to beat the number 3 allegations. If someone was to come up to me and say that my art style looks like Total Drama, I'll take it as a compliment because that's what it kind of looks like. I did it on purpose. If someone comes up to me and says that Caroline looks like number 3, I want to cry because that was an accident and unintentional parallel. That was a long tangent, but the unintentional parallel and the bankruptcy of my creativity are the reasons why I can't pick an outfit for these guys. But whatever. Now that we've established who they are and their designs, what about their story? Did I ever try to give them one? Well, let's find out. Oh boy, where do I even start with this? Okay, so one fateful day in 2020, I said it was time. I was gonna give these two a story, and it'll be a webtoon. So I drew this comic page on some paper, first with colored pencil as a sketch, and then I traced over it with microns. Scanned it with a scanner, then used curves to whiten the page a bit, and then I set it to multiply because back then I couldn't draw digitally, so I had to color underneath a drawing that I drew traditionally. It's a whole process. Then I colored it in Clip Studio Paint. After that, I added the dialogue and uploaded it to Webtoon, quickly realizing it was terrible. And it took so long too, because I was a traditional girl trying to go digital. It was so bad. I remember telling my sister I spent so many hours drawing it. Tell me why, she says, but you spent no time writing it. And it's so true. The comic was so bad. I bet you're like, okay, stop being a wimp, Rose. Show us the comic. And the thing is, guys, I can't. Like, I literally can't. This comic has been Thanos snapped from both my memory and the planet Earth itself. Someone added to the Lost Media wiki. It's so baffling. I checked at least 9 Gmails, 1 Yahoo Mail, and 1 Outlook account, but they weren't there. I checked in my 9 Drive accounts. It wasn't there. I looked in my OneDrive, but it wasn't there. I looked in flash drives. It wasn't there. I checked my old Photoshop cloud. It was not there. I checked my Clip Studio cloud, but it wasn't there. I got so desperate that I went to the Wayback Machine. No help. I checked my phone. It wasn't there. I checked my old phone, but it wasn't there. It wasn't even mentioned on my old Instagram. It was just gone. But in my search, I found art from about a decade ago. Since this story is so sad, for fun, let's redraw one of these. Yay! I also found a song my sister made when she was 13. Now imagine the most annoying song to you. Whatever you think it's gonna be, that's not what I'm about to play right now.
This music sucks!
This thing had me screaming. And you know what? I'm gonna start using this as background music for my videos now, and I have permission to do so. So yeah, I accepted that this was my fate, and I realized that maybe the color version of the webtoon is lost media, but maybe I could find the drawing since I drew it traditionally. Tell me why that's missing as well. For fun, I bookbinded all my sketches together to make one huge giant book. And guess what? I flipped through each page and it's also not there. So now I'm thinking maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm losing it. Perhaps I never made that webtoon in 2020 after all. There's no digital proof or physical proof. It was 2020. After all, many people lost their memories. It was a depressing time. No one remembers anything. Maybe I was no exception. But you know what, guys? You know what? Lo and behold, I kept digging. When I was at my breaking point, I found this email from Webtoons with this little thumbnail. And that alone, this right here alone proves that I am not crazy. I'm not crazy. It existed, but some divine being said this comic was so bad that it had to be scrubbed from all of existence. So that's where we are now. I'm sorry, I tried to find this thing. I did my best, but this is all we have. This little thumbnail. We may not have the story, but I can try to recall bits and pieces of it. Like, I remember that Caroline needed a sunflower for her orb thing, so she had to travel to Earth to find it. So yeah, I guess that's why she's part alien. I actually found some concept art for the MacGuffin things, and honestly, I cannot tell you if these are real words. Someone was having fun on dictionary.com. And what are these, Dragon Balls? Like, I'm so confused, but the point is, Caroline needed a sunflower. Excuse me, I mean a Helleniathus from Diana. And she, like, had an invisible spaceship. Because she's an alien and it needed to be invisible. Then I remember when she got all the Dragon Ball crap or whatever, she tripped and then accidentally gave Diana powers. So the Dragon Ball things, they caused Diana's glittery powers. And because of all of this, now Diana has to help Caroline get all the Dragon Balls again so that they can use the power for something. I don't know what that something will be. I don't know what the something is. I'm just so confused, but that's all I remember. If you're trying to understand the story, don't worry. I'm trying to understand it as well. I don't know what's going on anymore. I guess one thing that I kind of think is cool is Diana's powers. We'll workshop this eventually and see how she got them or whatever. But anyway, it's kind of like a magical girl system thing going on where she changes form. She has to draw out the constellations. Think of it like Wizard 101, where you have to draw your spell to summon whatever you're trying to summon. So like Diana, she has to draw the constellation Ursa Major to summon this bear so it can attack and kill people. So that's why you know what's up if you see this bear in some of the drawings. But of course, it requires a lot of practice, and she may fail if she draws it too slow or if she draws the constellation wrong. That's Diana's powers. I think it's kind of cool. That's one good thing that came out of all of this. Caroline, on the other hand, she's a witch with a spell book. She creates her own spells and potions. She's not that complex compared to Diana, but now you see how she's a witch vampire alien with an invisible spaceship.
He's just standing there, menacingly.
What's their story? What do they do? Who even knows anymore? I draw them in the most random scenarios. They're like the temp workers. Need a 404 page for your website? Get these guys. Need to redraw an artwork because you were screwed out of winning a contest? Get these guys. Need a VHS for a VHS art show? Get these guys. Like, literally. I just throw them in any scenario and it barely makes sense. So now I asked you guys, what do you think they do all day? And the general consensus is that they're either losers or criminals. And I could buy that. They're just whatever. And I kind of like that flexibility. They aren't tied to one story like Gioni and the gang. If I put Gioni on a shirt, which I wish I hadn't, it doesn't make any sense because it's a post-apocalyptic world. But if I put Caroline there, I can buy it because these are the kind of characters who are dead one chapter and then they're revived the next, just chilling at a McDonald's play place. A part of me wants to give them a story, but another part of me likes the flexibility. Maybe there's a way in the future I could combine serialization with random antics. I think this comment puts it the best. Whatever they're doing, it's probably wacky hijinks, and I'm fine with that. I mean, just yesterday, I had to write a scene where Gioni has a mental breakdown, and honestly, that's not fun to write. 2152, the Trifold article, is a tragic book sometimes, and with that, sometimes I would rather draw something funny. These guys are funny. I don't think every OC has to be part of some kind of grand story. Maybe it's okay to have something fun to draw or something fun to make an art trade out of. And as I continue to live on as an artist, I can't wait to see what the future has for these two. Let me know if you guys have random OCs with no story. I really need to know. But yeah, that's it. That's the video. Check out my book, 2152, the Trifold article. It's both illustrated and animated, sci-fi, and adventure. We haven't really been talking about this book or this story all video, but if you're bored and need something to read, here you go. I'll link it below as well as the newsletter. I have a Discord for artists and writers that'll also be linked below. Have fun while creating today, and I'll see you guys later.